Hello, everybody. One more sleep and we're out of here.
That's it. What do you see the other night as far as the guys on special teams that really made a case for themselves?
I thought we had a good game. It was solid. Secured the football. That's always hard to do. You saw where it hurt them a little bit. But also, on the other hand, I like the fact that we did knock the ball out. So, I mean, you look at it that way, too. I thought the guys flew around pretty good. Kicking was exceptional. Bucker's really trying to work the edges with the kickoffs, and a little bit too close, really. I mean, that thing could have easily bounced out. But you want to try to push the limits right now during this preseason. You want to see how far you can go with it. And he's worked so hard at it, and it's good to see him have some success there. And then Matt, he punted well. He had some really good punts. He had the one touchback where I thought, we could have did a better job with the hang time on that instead of the distance. But, he's moving the ball well. He's gotten better, over, from last year. So I'm excited about where we are right now. Yeah, I mean, we know what Nico can do. He needs to do a lot more on offense. I mean, which he has. He's been doing. So we'll just keep working him in there, and everybody knows how I feel about Nico. I love having a guy that you can depend on, solid. He's not going to cost you a game. That's important. It's so important.
Has anyone else shown improvement on the catching part of the return? Earlier in the camp, you loved what Nico did. Is anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get Burchard. Burchard, I had him back there a bunch, but he just didn't. He had the fair catch where he probably should have returned. Obviously, he should have returned. It was blocked up. But we got to keep throwing him in there until he gets some more reps. I mean, Taekwon, he got one. There's just only so many reps to go around. You got to try to get as many guys in as you can, and hopefully we'll get Burchard some more this week. See if he can be a dynamic guy like we think he can.
Dave, on the upcoming documentary about the Chiefs, it's a segment about Andy not sleeping.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. It's real. I have to have 7 hours. If I don't have 7 hours, I'm toast. So I got to get home. I don't know how he does it. He operates. He's been doing it for years, and he just doesn't need a lot of sleep. It's amazing. I've never come to work and not seen his car there. When as early as I come in, he's always there. And when I leave, it's there. So I don't think he sleeps there, but he still goes home. But he doesn't spend a lot of time at home. I know that. No. I mean, that's a good question, but no.
When you see him in the morning, he still has the same energy?
Yeah. He does.
You might have touched on this earlier, but the new kickoffs, is there something that you learned from a game experience that you couldn't learn from here in practice?
Not really. Our guys are doing different stuff now because you're allowed to take the middle guy and have him off the line. You can have 3 guys off the line now, which is, I think it's an advantage for the kickoff return team. It helped us a little bit, I thought, in the game. I think teams are going to use it to their advantage like we did. Other than that, obviously teams are going to be kicking into the target zone. I mean, that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot more returns, just like I said before, a lot more coverages, and it's all good for special teams. All right, thanks.
Kingsley specifically, what kind of growth have you seen in this week in left guard?
Well, this being his second year, I definitely have seen a better understanding of defense, and I've really been pleased with how he's taken to the run game techniques in there at the guard position. It's different than tackle where you've got so much more space. These guys are on you right now, so he's gotten better in that regard, and then he's doing a nice job with transitioning and working the pass pro techniques as well.
Josh, been, he was out there at OTAs and all that stuff. As you watched him through this, coming back after a game, what have you seen his progression like through the practice stuff you see? We all saw what was happening. What did you like about it? Meeting rooms and practice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big job for anybody coming in to learn the details of the offense, assignments, techniques. Every play's got 1,000 little details, and so picking those things up That was job one in the spring, where he was doing less physical work with us. And since he's gotten to training camp, he's been able to every day add one or two of these little details that are important to each play. And so I've seen him steadily improve and his understanding, and we're able to have better conversations about what's going on. And I think that what we'll see his trajectory do is just go like this. Yeah, we've only gotten him a little bit of work in there, but he's certainly got a great body type to have great success in there. We're going to lean on him to help us out at the tackle position, and having trained him to play some guard, which is something that he hadn't done, I think will be important, because down the road we may need to see him in there.
How strong is the competition for like 8, 9, and 10? And what kind of things are you looking for differentiation?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best years we've had in terms of bringing in, talent and creating competition across the board. That's just going to make the group better. So when you talk about the 8th, 9th, and 10th spot, there's a lot of competition going on, and there's still a lot more to be done there in terms of evaluation. Those preseason games are going to be huge. So who's operating and grading out, basically getting their guy blocked the most consistently? Who do we trust to put in there on a Sunday or Monday night? I'd hesitate to compare guys. Every guy's different. I'm still in a learning process myself of, what makes him tick, how does he learn best, how can I help him get better, and so there's constant communication there. But I would say he's certainly as talented a player as I've ever been around. He loves the game. And so, those are two good things. When you're talented and you love the game and you want to be the best, you've got a great chance to be a good one.
Last one, Matt. Following up on what Merritt said, Andy and Josh talked about Jalen Moore and Mike Kelly kind of being streaming starters. As far as some other guys, Wanye, and I know Essa, and True Godwin's been playing too. How are those other three guys?
Yeah, I would say all of them have really been progressing nicely. And you talk about a guy like Hunter, he has been battling with Mike. Last year, Mike played an important role for us. When you look back further than that, Nick Allegretti, who played a lot of ball for us, Andrew Wiley, who played a lot of ball for us. So Mike's been able to do that, and really Hunter has developed his game to where I think he can be right there, with the Mike Caliendo center guard flexing there. And then Chew, I've been really pleased with his progression here. It takes time coming from a different country and not really having played the game, but things are starting to click for Chew a little bit right now. So we're giving him an opportunity to compete.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
What a day out here in St. Joe's. Appreciate everyone being here. Great day. Nice, crisp practice. And with that, I'll leave it up to you guys and ladies to ask questions.
I want to talk a little bit about how you've asked me to put on maybe a bit of weight and maybe play more one tech and three tech. Is that been kind of the plan for him as far as rookie year goes?
Well, we got Chris Jones, who's as dominant a three technique as there is in the NFL. So we're trying to get everybody else ready. And you got to play two spots, and Omar is going to play both. Omar will play three and Shea. So we're getting them ready for both.
How's he kind of adjusted to that role as far as being that bigger player playing against
Good. I mean, he was 295, 300 in college, and certain days he's 304, 305, but he'll adjust to that. Great motor, really soaks everything in and just tries to do everything detailed and right. Very similar in terms of, they were coached by the same coach. He was Coach Hagan did a great job with Georgia, Purdue, and now he's at Louisville. But very similar. Both have great motors. Both love football. So really, really similar. Jerry's been a great addition. He's a vet, 8-year vet. He can play all along the line of scrimmage. He's really worked hard, and he's doing a great job, and we're glad we have him. He's playing hard, playing physical. He's always been able to be nifty at rushing the passer, but we asked him to be a little bit more stouter in the run game, and he's doing that. Oh, no, we kind of feed off one another. No, Chris has done a great job leadership-wise, and no, it's been like he's always done that.
One of the things that Chris talked about when we talked to him last was you need more sacks. You guys got to get the quarterback to the ground. You have what on your roster right now? You think?
Yeah.
The roster that can get.
Absolutely. When you look at the 2 years we won the Super Bowl, and Spags as creative as it comes in terms of getting to the quarterback. We have guys that can get to the quarterback, and we had like 57 or 60 2 years in a row, and then we dipped a little bit last year, but we picked it up the end of the year and into the playoffs. And the thing we got to do a better job of is making sure in certain situations he doesn't get out of the pocket. We had opportunities to get him down and didn't finish, and that's been our emphasis this year. Chris having a phenomenal camp. He hadn't missed a rep, and this is our 4th year together. He had a similar camp in 22. Obviously wasn't here in 23. He was injured a little bit last year. He hadn't missed a rep. Long drive drill, 9-on-7, 1-on-1 pass rush, phenomenal. He's in great physical shape, and he's on a mission.
The last couple of years, you haven't had Charles and maybe on the field at the beginning of the season. How does it make your life maybe easier both to have that depth with him and the other guys?
Well, I'm glad we got Charles back. Number one, he was a free agent, right? And you're right. I mean, the first 6 games, 7 games, both years, 8 games last year, Charles wasn't available. And I'm glad he's available. He's fully healthy, and he's working his tail off, and he's going to be great for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
How many tickets do you have to come up with college?
Oh man, I'm gonna have Kelsey pay for them. How about that? Nebraska, Cincinnati. That's gonna be a good one. We'll have a couple.
What do you like so far about Noah Williams?
He competes. He showed some physicality in the game in Arizona. So those are things that we were looking for, and I just love the fact that the kid. He takes coaching. A lot of guys, sometimes they come in and you don't know what you're getting. It's like a box of chocolates. You have no clue what you're going to get, but he takes coaching, so we love that about him.
What stands out about, we've seen Nazi have a lot of reps with the ones out of here. What stands out about the camp?
We're just trying to, you probably saw that Watson wasn't in, and so Nazi has to go in and rotate, and so it's just keeping it on rotation. That's all. Well, just the fact that he's able to bounce back up and come right back, even if he gets beat. The kid comes back, and all of a sudden he continues to compete. And so NJ, again, is a young man who last year was baptized as a corner in the NFL. And so the fact now that he's going into his really 3rd year as a corner, it's going to help him out. So, but he has long speed and he has quickness, and so hopefully he'll just continue to get better.
Appreciate both first of all the changes that he's done, and obviously sort of showcasing that.
Yeah, Chris has done a wonderful job for us. I mean, we have him at multiple positions. He did that his rookie year where we played him at safety, played him at nickel, moved him from outside and just really played him closer towards the box. And so the young man is very cerebral. And so he's able to pick up the defenses, and then he can do a lot of things for us, whether it's strong, free safety, as well as play a little, dime and nickel. So having that kind of Swiss Army knife is going to help us out.
Christian Soldier is coming back from his injury. Had him out here for a couple of practices. What are some of the challenges because of the missed time to get him up to speed, game-wise, and even practice-wise before the start of the regular season?
Yeah, I think the challenge is for Christian is just to get his cardio. because you can go and you can work with your off-season coach, you can go and work with the trainers, but when you come out here and you're working with a professional coach as well as going against a professional offense, your cardio is the first thing that you're going to see. And so I think the good thing about him is today, I think he wanted to tap out, and then all of a sudden just told him just keep going because he needs that, just play after play after play. So if he can continue to expand and open his lungs, that's going to help us all out.
I know earlier you said Noel Williams was kind of swimming.
Yep.
Where's he at now?
Still swimming. Still swimming. He's still Dory. All right. Just keep swimming. I tell these guys, when you're playing one position, there should be no reason for you not to know what to do. If you're not a guy who's going from safety to nickel to dime, if you're doing multiple positions, I get it. We have a complex defense. But if you're playing one position, you should never, ever not know what to do. You should know the call before the safety even makes the call. So hopefully he'll continue to ascend in the direction that we want him to go in. But he's doing well.
Last one, Pete.
Yep. Trent just in phase. I think one of the things is that once Trent gets in phase, one of the things we're working on is making sure that he's able to get closer to the receivers and pin the hip as they're going down the field. And so with that, you're looking at Trent, and no, Trent is not the guy who's 6'3", 6'4" at corner. And so he's going to have to get into the body of these guys and try to, physicality, try to outwork them as they're going down the field versus separation where the guys can just jump. And so it's just really just working on getting closer to receivers, doing a good job.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Fire away.
What have you seen just from Taekwondo from the summer just until now here at training camp?
Yeah, Taekwondo's done great. He's been picking up the playbook well. He's known all three spots, and he brings some speed, so he's doing good.
How about Brownlee? Same thought. What have you seen?
Yeah, Brownlee, another guy. He moved him around all three spots. He's picking up the playbook well, and then we saw in the game he's got a crazy catch radius. So I like where both those guys are at.
Can you speak to the some of the enhancements, some of the improvements, maybe polishing route running you see from Xavier, especially given how many different routes he ran during his rookie season?
Yeah, he after the season, me and him had a good talk of what he needs to get better at, and I think he did a good job in the off season, especially the summer, of working on the stuff we were talking about. And I think it shows on the field. He's not just a straight line go route guy. He can run multiple routes. So I really like what he did. Came back in great shape, and then like you said, he's gotten better at route running.
How challenging was last season with just all of the injuries and having to work in, and not what you had week to week, and
Yeah.
rookies and young inexperienced guys?
Yeah, it was difficult, but I think that's what makes us such a great team. It's that next man up. So all the second, third string guys, they know they're one play away from being a starter. So that's credit to them too, being in their book, knowing what to do, and then when they got the opportunity, they made the most of it.
How important is Shea to what you guys want to accomplish as an entire offense in 2025?
Yeah, he'll be very important. I'm excited to see him back from his injury. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's just a physical force out there. I love him when he gets the ball in his hands. He turns into a true running back. He'll help our offense a lot.
Couple more.
Collectively as a group, what stands out? I understand that each wide receiver brings something different to the
Yes.
table, but as a group, what about their speed? How fast is this group?
Yeah, it's fast. It's like a track team out there, 4x1 team. It's next man up. They all can run. That's kind of what our offense is based off of, is just speed. And then, just like you said, we got a lot of guys that can run. So I like the depth of our room and the speed of it.
Coach, we hear a lot about Remigio on special teams, but what do you see with him playing the receiver spots?
Yeah, he's another guy. Just knows everything, knows all the spots. I have no problem throwing him in. Someone's tired or has a hammy. I need it. He'll get in there. He'll know exactly what to do. And then I think just like he does in the return game, he shows up every day the same guy. So you got to respect that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Bleymaier.
You guys asked Embo all the hard ones, I assume.
So you guys have really been emphasizing the downfield passing game. Just wonder what you've seen out of here over these last few weeks.
Yeah, I've seen the whole offense, all the guys, some of the returning guys, trying to establish an identity. I think each year you have to reestablish that identity, kind of form who you're going to be as an offense. You can't take for granted what you've done in the past and just simply think you're going to transform or start back up where you left off. And so emphasizing, hey, everything starts in the vertical game, putting pressure on the defense, down the field, across the field, all of those fundamentals of how to open up the field. That's what I've seen. So that's what I've seen, that emphasis, and just starting over. Here's where we go, and form that identity until they stop it. Even going against our defense, which Coach Spags is a great segue into the season because they'll have adjustments throughout camp. But until they stop this, we'll keep doing it. Once they stop it, now where's our next complement?
How can you utilize Xavier in year two and maybe you weren't able to right away in year one?
Yeah, he has a familiarity with the offense and the scheme to where he can do more things. You can put more in terms of where he aligns and the routes and the concepts on his plate. He too, utilizing him more, he too is in that identity phase and that formation of himself as a player. And so one of the things that he does, I think that's a credit to him, is he's really emphasizing and focusing on the things that he does well, continuing to do those well, rather than to just take it for granted, focus on the next thing in his game that he would like to build on. He singles out Trent in one-on-ones, and oftentimes he's going to run the same routes over and over against Trent. So really sharpening his fastball, his main pitch, and then from there being able to say, all right, here's how I can complement that, and here's the other moves and the routes that can work off that. So he's like a microcosm of the offense in general. In year two, he's trying to establish that identity of here's what I can do against anybody in the league, and then if they start taking it away, here's how I can complement that.
Joe, you mentioned the identity, and from like 2018 to 2021, you had that Legion of Zoom identity, and everybody's been talking about speed this year being the hallmark. What are the similarities? Are there similarities between what you're trying to do now versus what was happening back then?
Yeah, I think there's similarities in when you have multiple guys on the field, like in those early years when you had Trav and Tyreek and Sammy, and you had multiple guys on the field who could do multiple things against the defense, then they never knew really which way a certain concept was coming. It could be Sammy one week, Tyreek the next, Trav in the week 3. So each month it was just a constant guessing game and cycling through how we were getting to certain things and then complementing them. This year, I think we have a similar set of wide receivers who have been in the system, and although they all have different traits and are better at different things specifically, they all have a skill set that can allow them to line up anywhere on the field and work a specific concept. And so that just allows us to hopefully keep the defense off balance with not necessarily having it always be Xavier running deep and then Trav underneath. It's just like we were talking about with Xavier's game. He's underneath and somebody else is over the top, and just constantly changing them.
Joe, what have you seen from Travis this camp? This guy who decided to come back, been through this a whole bunch of times. How's he evolved over the years?
I mean, today was a great example. One of the hotter last days of training camp in full pads. We started off slow on offense. Trav gets a route one-on-one, and we hadn't seen many completions out there today. And Trav beats his man one-on-one, breaks out for a 20-yard gain, and kind of sets the tone for everybody that, hey, you get man-to-man coverage. We're winning these routes. Let's go. So that just the veteran that he is, the amount of years out here, and then when everybody was pushing through the dog days of camp, it was him who made the play one-on-one against the defense. That kind of just goes to that bigger picture where maybe you don't recognize the years as much because it's just the same old Trav. That's what he's always been doing. But for him to be able to dig deep and do that, that was just like a fountain of youth moment today in full pads out here.
We'll go a couple more.
What stands out to you most about Patrick this week?
His ability to communicate with the veteran guys who have been here, and then also the younger guys, Jalen, who's learning our offense, some of the newer tight ends, exactly what he wants through their eyes. So he can speak to Rasheed and Xavier, Hollywood, Trav, a certain way. They have a communication that sometimes is unspoken. But then with Jalen and some of our newer tight ends and newer pass catchers, he's been able to communicate exactly what he wants through their eyes, which is you can see him almost taking a breath and seeing, hey, I know exactly what you were thinking, or here's what I think you thought, and here's how I saw it, and it's just clicking. I think that's a maturity and an experience thing from Patrick to be able to recognize the game through their eyes and see it through their experience, and then meet them where they are. It's been incredible to watch.
More? Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys fire away. When some of years are in camp, what's your job like as far as, especially when the injuries pop in, because you've had a couple of new additions with Keyshawn, Matt Mack, Wiley today. What's kind of the process when you have those things pop up during camp? Yeah, quickly we're communicating with our pro department, just getting a quick list together of street free agents, maybe 3, 4, 5 guys that we'll bring in for a workout, pretty quickly. Just get them on a plane, get them here, work them out, and hopefully sign one of them. So it's kind of a, it's kind of a group effort, just identifying certain street free agents. They could be guys that just got cut, guys that maybe been in the UFL. So there's certainly a process to kind of get those names together.
Like, when you look at what you guys have at wide receiver, how do you balance just taking the best 6, 7 guys versus having diversity in that room, and maybe somebody offers something that somebody doesn't? Like, what is that conversation gonna be?
Yeah, I think typically, I think, the way I see it, I think in the past you kind of want to build it like almost like a basketball team a little bit, different skill sets, different type of players, which I think, we have a lot of talented, players in the room. There's a lot of really good competition. But I think you can balance speed, physicality, run after catch, special teams aspect. So you want to have a lot of diversity in the room in terms of skill sets. But the special team aspect is huge, especially for those depth guys.
I wonder if you could describe the process of watching the other preseason games for potential cuts later on that may be of interest.
Yeah, so our guys, from the first preseason, the Hall of Fame game, throughout the preseason, our pro department, they each have, a handful of teams that they're watching. They're probably watching 25, 30 guys per team, mostly younger players, maybe some young vets that they feel like maybe on the bubble that could potentially help, maybe our 53, but also, could be practice squad guys down the road. So they're tagging those guys in our system, and those are the guys that get funneled to, myself, Chris, Veach, Nutt, and Tim Terry, and then we'll get together, around the Bears game, and we'll meet for a couple days and just, kind of condense that list. Maybe there's only 4 or 5 guys that legitimately we might, target.
Any thoughts on how did we talk about this post-draft as a whole, like the offensive tackle? What have you seen from him so far, and what makes him intriguing at this point?
Yeah, he's a big kid, big strong kid that can play both tackle spots. Had a good All-Star game, and he's certainly got physical traits. Now I think it's just being consistent and stacking days and eliminating the errors. But talented kid that he's fit in well with the room. I mean, there's a lot of really good competition there for depth spots there. We feel good about our depth especially in the second group. So he's got potential, but he's got to keep showing it.
You mentioned good depth. Is there any particular area where you feel like that the depth is maybe deeper than you've gotten into training camp than maybe you expected?
Yeah, I mean, I think our D-line depth's a strength right now, and I think we've definitely gotten stronger. Really on both lines. I like our the additions we made on the offensive line. In addition to the defensive line, that's both free agency and the draft. I like our linebacker depth. As we talked about receivers. I think this is a year where there's going to be a lot of tough conversations. Multiple spots. It's not going to be easy for there's going to be players. Unfortunately, we released that our NFL players are going to be playing for other teams.
A couple more.
I'm just touching on offensive line, but just going into the offseason, big picture. I mean, you guys always emphasize defensive, offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
This offseason, I mean, there's the conversations like this needs to be the top priority.
Yeah, I think so. And listen, it wasn't. I don't think it was just because of the Super Bowl. I think it was just that's just kind of how we want to build the roster, and we want to infuse it with youth and talent. And fortunately, through free agency and the draft, we were able to do that. And feel good with it's a good blend of youth experience. I think guys with versatility. So really encouraged by what we've seen so far.
Last year you were pretty active at the end of the cut down deadline, knowing that you're 31 on the waiver wire again this year. You've got some old friends that are pretty high on the waiver wire that might be familiar with your guys.
Yeah.
How much 3D chess is going in there as far as if you want somebody off the waiver wire, you maybe have to go make a trade?
Yeah, and that's just the reality of it. It's a good problem to have. It means you've done pretty well that you're far down on the claim. But yeah, right now, I mean, we're talking to every team in the league. I mean, myself, all our contacts. We're just gathering information now. So whether that would mean potentially trading for a guy, doing a player swap, maybe there could be a guy that you think might be available to claim. Yeah, we're going to be active. I mean, we're gonna watch as much tape as possible. We're gonna, and maybe it just doesn't work out, but we're gonna identify certain players that we think could help us now down the road, and we'll see where it goes.
Thanks, Mike.
Good. Thanks, guys.
Fire away.
Chris, you had a busy few weeks there. I mean, I know you're deeply involved in the contracts, the salary cap. So getting Trey and George both done, how important was it to get those addressed, just to know kind of what pieces you have in place for the future?
Sure, we were very excited to be able to get both of those contracts done, and zooming out to the big picture, one of the core operating principles we have that Veach has adopted as the general manager here and goes all the way up to ownership is that we want to draft well and retain our own players to the maximum extent possible that's feasible within our constraints, and we were very happy to get both of those guys done as important starters on both offense and defense.
How much progress do you think has been made with you guys trying to retain maybe Trent before the start of the regular season?
Sure. Well, it's a great question, and I don't think it's appropriate for me in my position to comment on any specific prospective business with any one particular player, but I'll go back to the big picture, zoom out. Brett has done a really good job of drafting players with support from the coaching staff and all of us and all the scouts and support staff. Retaining players that we've drafted and have become core players for us is really important.
Just considering the contracts that are done, what's coming up, Trent potentially Pat's number next year, is how important is long-term planning? How many years down the line are you looking at things we have to do?
Sure. Well, it is really important. So we always try to keep a 3-year glimpse into the future as to how all different moving parts affect our available resources, so that as we have individual transactions with a player or a negotiation with an individual player and agent, those have to fit into the bigger picture. And we're trying to manage our resources, be that draft picks, money, both cash and cap money, to best sustain our championship roster. And it's not always easy, but having that 3-year perspective, and sometimes, it's really a 2-year perspective because 3 years in can be a blank canvas, is very important to our decisions.
This last year, you guys seemed like we were a little bit surprised with the number of the salary cap. Pleasantly surprised, I think, by what that number was. I mean, when you do those 2-year windows or occasionally 3-year windows, I mean, how do you factor that aspect in, considering there's a pretty big unknown?
It is an educated guesstimate based on a lot of factors, but generally I think teams tend to be a little bit conservative with projecting the cap, so they make sure they don't get themselves in a little bit higher than we think. And that's a pleasant problem to have. It's sort of found money, for lack of a better term. But we work through historical trends and how we see things moving in the future to try to give us a conservative but fair number to work with.
Last one. Anybody?
There's a little bit of hubbub this year about second-round picks and
Mm-hmm.
guarantee money and all that. I mean, how often do you get? Was that something you knew was going to be going on around the league, or is that a little bit of a curveball? And how often do you kind of get those curveballs in your business?
Well, it was a little bit of both. So the second round had guarantees being negotiated in it for a number of years. Just the timing and where those guarantees were landing in the round was a little different. I think it wasn't something that was completely out of left field. The fact that it became noticed by folks generally was a little unusual because we are normally working on those rookie contracts without a whole lot of fanfare to the actual, details of it. But it just took a little bit more time, but we were fortunate that we were able to get it done with Omar before camp started. And moving forward, I think there'll still be negotiation in the second round, and who knows, maybe it'll be a cause célèbre moving forward too.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Last.
Oh, go ahead.
There's been, it's been a long time since the CBA to kind of eliminate those problems.
Sure.
Back in the day, it got ugly a lot. Is there something that you guys as an organization would like to see to keep that from kind of coming back up?
So
it's fair for both sides, I guess.
yeah, look, the collective bargaining agreement should operate fairly for both sides. In terms of my specific role, those collective bargaining discussions about what we'd like to see and not like to see from my role, that really ends up being an ownership and union level discussion. The having grown up in the league under previous structures, the negotiations for rookie picks now is certainly less lengthy, and there are fewer moving parts, but there's still negotiation going on, and we still have to work with the agents, but we'll work with whatever system we're told to, so we're good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.